So maybe you've heard from somebody that it's a good idea to write something called a memo of intent. And you're thinking, what is that? Why should I even care about a memo of intent? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about why memos of intent are so important, particularly if you have a disabled loved one, and how you should write it. Hi, this is Ellen Cookman. Welcome to my channel. In this channel, we talk all about how to help special needs families set up their estate plans. Estate planning for special needs families is complex, and we try to make it as easy as possible for you. If that information is helpful for you, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you will be notified when new videos come out each week. My law firm has helped hundreds of families navigate the complex process of setting up estate plans. So I'm excited to share all of my knowledge and experience with you. So you may be familiar with trusts. Trusts are legal documents where we instruct the successor trustee on what to do with the trust, on how to distribute the money, all of that. It's very legal, very structured. But what if you have your own ideas about how that money should be used for your child? Perhaps you have ideas about who should be interacting with your child or what types of housing your child should get in the future. You're worried because your child may be nonverbal, or perhaps they just can't express themselves that well, or maybe they don't have very healthy ideas for their own future. So this is your opportunity to write a Dear Successor Trustee letter. We call it a memo of intent. So basically you're saying, Dear Successor Trustee, here is my child. I want to introduce you to my child. Here's all about what they like, what they dislike. We'll go through all the different things to share. Now, a memo of intent is not binding. You don't go to court and say, Judge, they have to follow the memo of intent. Instead, it's really an instruction manual to the successor trustee. And let me tell you, I've spoken with a lot of banks and private fiduciaries about the memo of intent, and they love them. They think they're fabulous because they're trying to get up to speed after you're gone on how to manage money the best way for your child. How do they set up a spending plan? The more instruction you have and the more the child needs, the more you can put in your memo of intent. So it's really a great tool for passing along information to those who might need it. Even if you have a child lined up as successor trustee, which I usually don't recommend, and you can watch some other videos about why I say that. Even with a child, they still don't know as much about your child as you do. You've spent many years raising your child, learning all about what makes them tick. And that's the information that I suggest that you pass along to those who will be raising your child financially after you're gone. Now, you can write a memo of intent at any time, and you can always update it. I suggest that parents look it over every 3 to 4 years or so and see how accurate it might be, update it, and then I always suggest that they provide a copy to me, the attorney, and also to the successor trustee themselves, so it's all ready to go. Now again, keep in mind it's not binding, but it's super helpful to have in the file. If this information is resonating with you, I ask you to please hit the like button below. This helps YouTube to push this information out to more parents who might need it. So what should the memo of intent include? Well, it can include just about anything. I like to think, how does your child function? What makes them happy? What makes them sad? What are their hobbies? What really ticks them off? It's good to include information about their medication and any allergies they might have, or any things that they've overcome in the past and you want them to continue to work on in the future. I know in the Bay Area, housing is a huge issue. You think about, it's hard enough for us to find housing as neurotypical people who can work. Now imagine your child who's not able to work. What are your hopes and dreams and plans for housing in the future? What have you already researched? And by the way, if you haven't started researching this, no matter how young your child might be, I suggest that you start looking into it. Do you think your child would do well at a group home? Do you think they would really benefit by being in their own apartment? Is your hope that they continue to stay at the family home, which a lot of times is not financially feasible, but for some children, that's the best option. So to really spell that out, you should talk about which services and benefits your child currently receives. Are they receiving SSI or SSDI? Are they receiving medi-cal or Medicare? Some children receive all 4 of those benefits. Perhaps they're doing that. Or maybe they're receiving low-income housing benefits or food stamps. So definitely spell out all of that. Are there health insurance plans that you'd like them to receive in the future? Or maybe they're on a family's health insurance plan, but they'll be bumped off once the parent dies. What do you have in mind in the future? They might be involved in day programs or sports programs. Maybe they really like participating in Special Olympics. You should write that out. Maybe they have a caregiver who goes with them each time to Special Olympics. Definitely document that. Put in writing all the people who are involved in your child's day-to-day life. Maybe they've had a caregiver for many years and they're friends with that caregiver's family, and you want them to continue to interact with that family. And they could be involved with many extended family members. As we all know, having more people in your life is really beneficial, especially if you have disabilities and it's harder to initiate with new people. You can also talk about the skills that your child does have. What are they really good at? What do you want them to continue to do? Perhaps they're really interested in trains and they go to certain train exhibits all the time, or you'd like them to volunteer at a certain museum. Definitely write all of that in and make sure to put the date and sign it. It doesn't have to be notarized, but you'll want to put the date so that the successor trustee, the manager of the trust, will know what's the most recent one. So perhaps you've updated their information about medication. We want the most recent information about medication. Sometimes people ask me, when's the best time to write a memo of intent? And really, the best time is now. When you have it fresh on your mind, when you've had enough time at least to watch this video, so you have a breather and you're considering these things. The last possible time is right before you die. Now, we don't know when that might be, so that's why it's so good to do this now. And again, you can always update it. It's not set in stone, so don't put extra pressure on yourself. I've seen memos of intent a paragraph long. I've seen them 5 pages long. So you make it as detailed as you think is helpful. Also, you can ask your spouse, other loved ones, other family members to contribute to this, so you have a really good overall perspective of your child, and then your successor trustee is up and running the moment they need to manage things when you're gone. Now you know how to write a memo of intent. I also have a webinar available right down here about all things special needs planning. So if you're interested more about special needs trusts and special needs planning in general, I suggest that you click on that webinar and really inform yourself. Also, be sure to watch this video on how to set up a special needs trust in California. Thank you so much, and I'll see you there.